हामीसँग एकदमै आज विशेष अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ उहाँको बारेमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ इन्स्पिरेसन मोटिभेसन या हामी भन्न सक्छौँ कि एउटा धेरैजना वुमेनहरूको लागि चाहिँ एउटा कन्फिडेन्ट वुमेन कस्तो हुनुपर्छ र आफ्नो जीवनमा चाहिँ करेज र कन्सिस्टेन्स भयो भने चाहिँ हामीले के कस्ता रिजल्ट ल्याउन सक्छौँ र त्यसको इम्प्याक्ट आफूमा मात्रै नभइकन आफ्नो वरिपरि पनि कसरी गर्न सक्छौँ भन्ने कुराहरू जहिले पनि मैले चाहिँ उहाँबाट सिकेको छु र म सँगसँगै कैयौँ महिला बालबालिकादेखि लिएर कैयौँ नेपाली जनताहरू मात्रै नभइकन संसारभरि उहाँ प्रेरणाको प्रतीक पनि हुन सफल हुनुभएको छ। यस मैले आज कुरा गरिरहेको छु हाम्रो गेस्ट जो चाहिँ CNN हिरो अवार्ड 2015 जितिसक्नु भएको छ। उहाँ CEO co-founder of Blink Now Foundation को हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँलाई कार्यक्रममा वेलकम गरौँ म्यागी दोयन। Welcome to Good Morning Nepal.
Thank you. Good morning, Nepal.
I love the way you said it, Good Morning Nepal. It really feels good morning. So Maggie, you've been traveling. You are now here in Nepal. You've been really busy. You've been mother. Congratulations for that as well. We read your book also, which also was so amazing. Your book, Between the Mountains and Sky, it was so amazing as well. I think it got a very good response as well. So many things going on in your life. So tell me what has been made you really busy and occupied these days?
Well, children, that's everything, you know, motherhood and the balance of it all that we carry, launching the book and being a CEO and trying to be a good boss and a good leader and staying hopeful. And at the end of the day, I just want to go to bed feeling amazing about trying to make the world better, a better place for mostly women and children. And I think that's what I try to stay focused on with the busy chapter of this life. Yes.
But it seems like you are being able to manage so nicely the new role, being a mother, and then all other everything you are doing right now. Is it really so easy, or are you having also challenges?
Or you make it look easy?
It's easy for anyone. I don't know. I came to Nepal when I was 18, and I'm 36 now. So it's been exactly half of my life in Nepal, living in Karnali, and half of my life in the US. And I think I've gotten better over the years at balancing these two worlds, these two cultures. And you learn and you grow. And I just feel really grateful that I've been so humbly welcomed to this place. And I get friends like you and everywhere. And people are really championing our work in Karnali. And I think Blink Now is starting to be seen as a model and something to really follow, and it's working. It's really working.
As you just mentioned about Blink Now, I was about to get there. What was the inspiration for you to found Blink Now and even Kopila Valley? What was the journey behind it? What is the story behind it?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, my experience with Nepal started on the India side of the border. And it was the year 2005. It was the time of a lot of conflict, a lot of uncertainty geopolitically. And I was very entrenched in the refugee and the migrant community. So very, very unique perspective. I came in thinking that the Nepalese experience was the migrant experience in India, and seeing that side of what it means to be Nepali in India as a migrant, as a porter, as a child who has been separated from their family. It just really shook me. And at the same time, as you know, Nepalese are kind-hearted and amazing people. And right away, I wanted to go. And I wanted to see Karnali, where all of these families and children and migrants were coming from. So I came at 18, super young, with my Nepali friends. And I never, ever turned back. And the moment for me that I always talk about was seeing children breaking rocks.
So like we can say that your stay in India inspired you to come to Nepal.
Yeah, it was, I really felt like Nepalese children especially need to be home and need to be in their home countries. And it was seeing kids lose family, be separated from family, and have that experience outside of their home villages that I realized that the work had to be done in Nepal and Karnali itself.
You just mentioned about like these are the things that needs to be done, and of course there are lots of issues that goes around and that we want to solution it. But how people accepted what you wanted to do, and how easy was? Of course it doesn't sound easy, but what was the challenges, early challenges that you faced that really built now foundation, or it makes stand where it is today?
Yeah, so I'm from New Jersey. I'm from the suburbs of the US. I was not equipped to fix deep, complex issues. And the first kind of thing that I learned is that the people and the communities themselves know what the problems are, understand the layers to those problems, and know how to fix these problems. They knew what the solutions were. Nepalese know that children need quality education. They know that that's the path to the future. Everybody wants their kid to get the best education possible. You know, Karnali has been so mislabeled as the backwards district. It's the backwards, it's the this. And that has always really bothered me, because when you actually go to Karnali, when you go to Jumla, Humla, Kalikot, Dolpa, Acham, when you go to these beautiful places and you talk to the people, they're only forward thinking. They only want education. They only want jobs. They only want opportunities. And so seeing that eagerness, that hope for their region, for their families, for their children, I caught the bug. Like, it was contagious for me, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I was welcomed, and I knew right away that my role was to bring resources. Karnali is a region that suffers from underinvestment and multidimensional poverty, and that's it. And so we can address that by bringing in education and addressing all the multifacets that Karnali is struggling with.
So the issues you're talking about, like you talked about investment, and then some other sorts of issues that you found 18 years ago. Those issues still persist, you believe so, or scenario has been changed?
I mean, I do think it's gotten better, but what we're having now is a western region of the country that their entire livelihood depends on either subsistence farming or migrant work. And what happens when you have an entire region of a country relying completely on migrant work, and we're talking about the average migrant family to make it through the farming season, to have enough food in a region where 50% of children are malnourished. They'll make $300, 30, 40,000 rupees in a migrant work season. And the consequence of that is so harmful, it's so detrimental, because then you start to break apart the Nepali family. And then there's accidents, and then there's harm done, and then there's children growing up without a family intact. And I work in orphan care, I'm passionate about orphan care. When a child loses a parent, loses their mother or father, 10,000 things have gone wrong, and you cannot ever replace that damage that happens. And so we have to get into these regions, empower the people, create jobs, create opportunities, create quality education. It's like a lottery. I was born in suburban New Jersey, so I got every opportunity in the world. I went to a great public government school. I had 2 parents. I got to play soccer. You're born in Karnali, and you've got 10,000 things that you're up against, and it's not right, and it's not fair. And we settle for less for children who are born into regions that simply because of where they're born. And we need to change that. Just because you're born in rural Himalayan Nepal doesn't mean you can't be the next Einstein. And our students have proven that. They're becoming engineers and scientists and social workers and teachers and entrepreneurs. And I, in every cell of my body, I know that Nepal will change when we start to prioritize our children.
Yes, that's definitely true. In the world where we always talk about the problems, you are working on the solution, that is actions. And I think we have so much to add on that as well. The questions we have, there is a lot of questions in that, but before that we need to take a break. हामी कुरा गरिरहेको छौँ म्यागी डोइनसँग। उहाँले गरिरहेको कामले कसरी चाहिँ यी बालबालिकाहरूको जीवनमा चाहिँ परिवर्तन ल्याइरहेको छ भनेर, र त्यो सँगसँगै उहाँको आफ्नै जर्नी, एउटा आमाको जर्नी कसरी चाहिँ सबैजनालाई जोडेर राखिरहेको छ भन्ने कुराहरू अझै धेरै चर्चा गर्न बाँकी नै छ, तर यो छोटो ब्रेकपछि।
ब्रेकपछि फेरि स्वागत छ, र हामी एकजना निकै विशेष अतिथिका साथ आज कुरा गर्दैछौँ। म्यागी जोइनसँग हामी कुरा गर्दैछौँ, जो सिइओ हुनुहुन्छ, को फाउन्डर हुनुहुन्छ ब्लिङ्क न्यू फाउन्डेसनको, र फेरि पनि उहाँसँगकै कुराकानीलाई अगाडि बढाउँ। Maggie, you already started working with children when you were 18, when you were a teenager, and now you are mother of 2 children. So having your own children, has it changed your emotions towards children's, other children's, or how does it feel to be a mother and then working with other kids?
I think, I was a mother so young because I was working in this space of children who were highly vulnerable, who were, missing their nuclear families. So I think my motherhood instincts caught in really quick. And so becoming a biological mother just felt like a little bit of icing on the cake. And, difficult body stuff. Just the physical part of it's difficult. But no, I think, children are everything to me. Like when I can run a little anxious, I can get depressed just like all of us. And then you look at the face of a child, whether they're biologically your own or your godchild or a child anywhere, and you try it, like you cannot feel anything but hopeful and joyful, and they're funny and they're pure and they're innocent. And so that's who I want to be around.
Actually, the energy in those children really reflects on your energy too, and that's amazing. Maggie, just to mention, as you just mentioned about the children's and every journey that you have been part of, can you share us the heartwarming, transformative experiences that you had these children in the community?
Yeah, so we started particularly working with the child labor populations. We had kids who were breaking rocks to survive, to earn 100 rupees a day. And we started working with children who were begging at the bus station. We started working with children who didn't have a mother, a father. And so these children are often stigmatized as being less than or not worthy of good quality services. And right away we were like, there's so much opportunity in this population, and they can be anything. And so just making sure that a child, you have to start with their most basic needs. We have to start with clean water, nutrition, but then you can build on from that. And then we move into quality education. And for me, it was like, let's not cut corners at all. I want Kopila Valley to be a place where my children, where your son could come and you'd feel so good about him being there. And often when we talk about poverty and we talk about vulnerability, we settle for less than. I mean, we all know in this country that the poor kids go to the public schools. And we have to change that narrative. Like, we have to have our kids be proud to put on those uniforms and proud of these schools. And so my core belief is that education is everything, and that we cannot cut corners. We cannot settle for less than the most optimum premium levels of education, because that's how we get ahead in the world, our GDP, our standing. And so I'm all about through and through education, quality education. And that comes from the people of Karnali. They know that.
Exactly. When you talk about quality of education, how Kopila Valley stands different than the traditional educational conventions, the way it works in Nepal? How is it different?
So my co-founder, Top Malla, he was an orphan himself, and he lost his dad when he was 1, he lost his mom when he was 8, he lost a sibling, and he went to work as a migrant when he was 9 years old as a child porter in India. And he always talked about how his life could have been different had he been given an education. You know, these major markers that can make or break. I mean, he's an incredible success story. So when we talk about quality for us, it's about our teachers being amazing, about being there. I mean, I know we're going through a lot with teachers at this moment in time. Teachers are the core to everything. Quality teachers who care and love and nurture, and us as a culture, as society, an organization valuing teachers, valuing that profession as being one of the most important. So quality teaching in the classroom, quality curriculum development, and then getting outside the box into experiential learning. Our kids are in nature, they're learning how to farm, they're learning how to grow their food, they're learning how to have critical debate, discussion, that it's okay to have difference of opinion. They're learning 2 languages. We're also instilling their indigenous languages in them. So, and then at the end of the day, a childhood is a childhood when it's full of joy and soccer and art and music and dance. So we don't cut those corners either.
So we talked about your journey. What are the areas on which your institution is working right now? So what's the future plan for Kopila Valley or Blink Foundation?
So for us, we've drawn a circle around the districts that make up Karnali, and our goal is to enter into the private-public partnership sector, where we take public schools, we capacity build them, we invest in them. We have schools in this country where children don't have toilets. We have schools in the provincial capital of Surkhet where kids don't have running water to wash their hands after they go to the bathroom. We don't have drinking water. We have schools that are crumbling. We have improper teacher to student ratios. And we need to build on our curriculum, and we need to build on quality services, and we need to make sure that it doesn't matter where you're born, whether you're in the capital, you're in a rural Himalayan district, every school has to start meeting these quality benchmarks. And so I believe in investing in education, investing in our teachers, investing in our curriculum building, and being really truly competitive when it comes to the world at large.
And I think it's a continuous learning process also for you and your team, that how you want to make an impact. And that's something however we've been noticing your work and how we've been following your work, it really inspires many of us. Now, when we talk about, since you have won CNN, you have been named as CNN Hero Award in 2015, how Blink Now Foundation has evolved, and what is the impact you have felt since then?
Well, CNN Heroes was amazing. I mean, so can I tell you that the CNN production team were like, we have never seen voter turnout like we have in Nepal. Nepalese people, they vote more than anyone else. I'm so grateful. Thank you to everybody who voted. And really, I mean, the recognition is always great, but we were able to take that money, build up our campus at Coppola Valley School. It is beautiful. If you've seen the imagery, it's a green school. It has edible landscaping. It's solar regenerative. We harvest our rainwater. We have a coconut soccer field. We grow our food. We raise animals. So it's completely biodynamic, completely regenerative. So that was an incredible mark. I think at this point, we're really looking at our outputs and our impact being our students. And we don't just drop our kids once they finish their SE exam. We don't just drop our kids when they finish their +2 interlevels. We see them all the way through college and higher education, whether that's diploma courses, vocational courses. Our students are becoming plumbers, electricians, automobile technicians. They're becoming computer scientists and analysts and journalists and writers. And so for us, it's about just taking that full cycle of a child that starts their journey having to break rocks to survive, not having enough food, and then launching them as a leader. Doesn't matter what their caste is, doesn't matter where they started, but showing and proving that these are the kids that are going to lead this country forward. And they're going to stay in Nepal, and they're going to rebuild this country, they're going to rebuild this region, and I know that, and I'm watching it. And it's cool, and CNN Heroes did that, and I think now that we've got this model, it's open source, we're sharing. I mean, on the weekends, like 200 people come to see it, and we're just trying to spread it. Just spread it around Karnali, ideally spread it around Nepal, and create a Nepal where every child is safe, nurtured, educated, and loved.
Mag, it's not only about Nepal. I think we have seen such heartbreaking numbers and data from Middle East countries and all over any other part of the world. Literacy rate is decreasing continuously if we observe in wholesome, So where do you think, what is the lacking points? Why not we are being able to focus on education, which is the basic right? Why we are not being able to protect the right of education to every other kid, not of only Nepal?
So Nepal, by the way, we're doing awesome. Literacy rate, I mean, let's cheer for Nepal.
Our literacy rate is definitely
it's going through the roof. That's why I love working here. Look at reforestation. Look at how we're cleaning up the environment. I mean, yes, we have a long way to go, but as Nepali people and as an outsider, I'm a guest. It's my home, but I'm a guest. We really do have to stay focused on the champions and these UN SDGs that we're hitting. When you look at motherhood, maternity, when you look at early childhood outcomes, when you look at retention, we are going up. So at this point for Nepal, I would say, we need to focus on what's working and make investments in what's working. Where are we having impact? Continue to capacity build on those impacts. Now, for the rest of the world, Blink Now has also become a model. And so we are sharing our futures program with, I was just on a call with Guatemala. And so we have a Guatemalan organization who has similar issues with food and growth and mountainous territory, learning from us in Sirket. Who would have thought? And we're in the African continent, which is also really struggling at the moment. We're advising, we're sharing our program guides, we're really making an impact globally. In the Middle East, we have partners. So I think we just got to keep going and keep doing what's working for us. And education works. We're getting distracted by all the nonsense.
Yes, very
But
true.
we know what works. Loving children, prioritizing children works every time. A child that is raised with love and investment and education, they're going to be fine. They do the rest.
Right.
And so we just got to quiet the noise, quiet all the other stuff, and just hone in on education and children.
Right.
Wow, I think that's so wonderful. But while you were even sharing this, I got like goosebumps that yes, we are like getting better, and how it's, and as you just mentioned about you being the guest, I don't think that you are the guest anymore. You are as much as Nepali, as much as we are. I think a language
just
or the
about
country.
the CNN hero contest when every Nepali
was
voted for you.
So I think that's the love, and that is the blessing, and that's the respect and honor that everyone has for you. So you are like Hamra Didi Baini, you're like our Didi. So Maggie, there are lots of people like you who wants to do something, make an impact by working in education or maybe be in any field. What would be your advices to the philanthropists who want to do something, who want to achieve something, who want to give back to the community? What would be your advice to them?
Start right now, start where we are, start with what we have. What are we buying? Where are we buying from? Are we buying made in Nepal goods? Are we investing in our local communities, in our local shops, in our local businesses? Are we creating opportunities and jobs within this country? Are we incentivizing our youth to actually stay here? Or are we giving them the impossible decision that they have to leave and earn? So just let's start here. Let's start where, our taxpayer dollars go to building our education systems. They need to become the heartbeat of our communities, not neglected places off in the corners where we don't go, we don't engage. We should all be engaged in our community schools.
Yes, very true.
We should all be there. We could be mentors, we can be teachers, we can be advisors, we can be volunteers, we can help connect them to water, like simple things. And so I just say everybody can do something. Become a Didi to another child. If every person that had the capacity financially or just time-wise to give back to one child, we could fix this thing. This is a small country. We can fix this place. And stay hopeful. We cannot give up and abandon because we're going through a challenging time.
Exactly.
We just have to stay hopeful.
It's
one child at a
vision.
time.
It's a vision,
change is possible.
Change is possible.
We're going to get there.
And I think it's all about working together and taking education like really, really seriously, because with time what we feel is we really want to bound ourselves with the problems, but then I think youth are solution makers as well, and that is what we youth should be learning from journey like you. What you have make an impact is something, a learning thing that maybe not in Karnali, but maybe somewhere else also we can make similar kind of impact, and that's what we need to learn. It's all about having that constant growth, and that's what definitely we have learned from your journey. So thank you so much, Maggie, for your amazing time. Right, Sneha?
Very true. We are really very grateful and thankful. We really had good time. Thank you for your time and for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.